Hello and welcome to Blockchain Gaming World with me, John Jordan. So, looking at the marketplace for BLOCKLORDS Dynasty. So, been doing some videos about that, getting quite into the game. It's a game where basically you have to go and actually buy a whole bunch of NFTs. So, there's all these sort of characters here. This is This is just sorted by listing time, I think. So, there's all these different prices, all in ETH. Each of these different characters has different health points. There's sort of roughly each type of character, like the Jester, will have a range. Father Christmas, Yule, wherever he is, these bear hunters. There's all these different characters, all have different prices, obviously being set by people selling them. And whenever one of these is created, it has a different health point. So obviously, if we go here and sort by price, actually just do it the other way around. So you get a Jester when you start playing the game. So there's just loads of bots. I think are just getting Jesters and then trying to sell them. This is super cheap. Look at the price later on. There's different values here, but basically these are entry level. 300 is 350 health on that one, and probably roughly the same. You can sometimes get them a bit higher health. It was a bit higher for the same price. So obviously you can go through this. You can actually then go and look for these sort of particular. Let's go basic Yule Lord. So if you want to go and find Father Christmas, there's Father Christmas 0.015 ETH, and he is 768. So you basically end up with all these data points. We can see here actually it is a bit more complicated because they have this different sort of a stat system here, but basically you sort of go by the health is sort of the easiest thing. Otherwise you sort of blow yourself up, I think, if you start to work out their particular stats here in terms of speed and attack and all that. So what I've done, clearly what I always do, is build a little spreadsheet. So this is obviously I spent a bit of time doing this, and the prices of these things always change. But basically you can go through and find a floor price. So you can go here and find what's basically the price of a Jester. So we can look here. The price of a Jester is 0. Blah blah blah. The price of ETH is whatever it is at the moment. Put a rough figure in, and so we see basically a Jester is like 20 cents. And the Jester's health can be, actually this is a range, but can be anything from up to about 420. Can be a bit higher than that. So this is a rough health range. As with all these things, you have to take it with a little bit of a pinch of salt. You have to go in and see exactly what the situation is, but it gives you like a rough idea of, you can sort of see the health and sort of the highest health. We have these. So for every of these characters, there's a basic character and then there's a legacy character, an older one. The legacy character always has much higher health, and is obviously roughly these things are being priced by people are putting prices in. They're listing them and they're choosing what price to go at. And sort of you can sort of say roughly there is a health per dollar. So, but the sort of weird inverse thing is, from a health per dollar point of view, the Jester is by far and away the best, because they're by far and away the cheapest, because they're basically given away for free, and they have some sort of health. So the Yule Lord Legacy might have 3.5 times more health than the Jester, but it's $120, so it's much more expensive on a per health unit basis. But the thing is, for some of the missions in particular, the Jester's not strong enough, so you need the higher stats to do some of the high end missions in the game. So you can't just go, I'm going to buy loads of Jesters and and sort of do really well. You do have to if you want to really do well, you have to get some high level characters. The thing is, you don't have to necessarily. As we can see here, there is some basic sort of stuff here. So if you look at, say, the health, you have to sort of check through various NFTs, because they all will have they'll be in a different range of health. But the Bisting Legacy, which is like a knight, you're really paying over the odds for that, and that's partly because the price of these things are being set at. Generally, there's many fewer legacy items than there are basic items. So we can see here for the Yule Lord. I mean, the Yule Lord Legacy is twice the health, roughly, but it's more than, or it's sort of roughly twice the price actually. So these two are sort of, you can get an idea of sort of how much you would want to pay per dollar. These two are just a sort of inverse of each other. and this, how many? Don't worry about that. That was something I was looking at to see how many I could buy for a certain price. But you do see these sort of it just gives you some idea of cheaper and better things. So actually, the sort of Hunter Legacy is actually pretty good, better than the Lumberjack Basic. So by building out these sort of models, you can actually see some of these are just sort of priced cheaper than other than sort of comparative ones. So there's not many Bisping Basic NFTs out there. They are pretty good, but they're being priced highly because there's not very many of them and they look cool. Whereas Lumberjack Legacy is actually one of the will give you one of the better health outcomes, one of the highest health outcomes, but it's, you know, a lot cheaper than some of these other ones. So, you know, this is not really rocket science at all, but it does give you some interesting sort of ideas. And actually, the ones I've come up with, the Bear Slayer Basic is actually one of the it's actually pretty good. Shadow Claw is actually sort of pretty good as well, and they're quite, you know, the problem is they don't quite give you enough. I think you sort of actually the minor legacies are pretty good because it actually gives you over 1,000, and you sort of sometimes, I say, health is not the only stat here. There are these other stats around sort of attack and speed and stuff. So it's not purely on that, but I think that's the best metric to sort of go on to try and work out how you spend your money. I put in about $300, so I'm trying to sort of build up some top end ones so I can do high end levels. So I did buy, what did I get? I got the Lumberjack Legacy is actually one that I've gone for. That's pretty good. That gives you some high level health, and also Shadow Claw Legacy. So those are sort of quite good ones at giving you Bear Slayer Legacy as well. They're giving you sort of quite high end health at a much cheaper price than some of these other ones, which maybe, you know, Yule Lord Basic is maybe expensive because it looks cool. So anyway, always worth, when you're doing these sort of things, always worth spending a bit of time, I think, trying to get some data around that. Always realise the data is never 100% correct. It's always changing. The price of these, people are listing different stuff. You have to look and see exactly what the health is. And something I've not really looked at actually is the different stats you get per character here. So looking at these sort of how this sort of plays out. So sort of, you know, these things like so there is the health points here, but actually he's, you know, strong in some of these other areas. So there we go. And there's all this as well, which I don't play into. So there's always more depth, I suppose. you can always look at, but good to get a rough idea of what you want to be spending and what you're getting for that. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. See you again soon.